Welcome tonight to the TMBT Radio podcast. Tonight's Sunday. Tonight I'm blessed to have three positive people in my life that I can honestly say that we're all going in the same direction when it comes to youth and the community and how we're God-fearing men. I won't get into explaining who they are. I will actually let them tell who they are, each of them. And we're going to start off with Coach Mike Bailey. We have tonight. Coach, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, gentlemen, and anyone that has tuned into the broadcast. First of all, I want to thank Milton Bell for this opportunity to share some information with you guys with regards to our society and youth. That's just right. Those are just things up my alley, and I'm very excited. And I just really want to give my appreciation for Milton Bell out of Georgetown and one of the lead guys in the Richmond area that I respect so much. So I'm just elated to be on the show.
Coach, we really appreciate it having you on tonight. Sitting to my right, we also have Coach Jack Sharpe. Jack, thanks for being on tonight.
It's definitely an honor to be on the show with you, Milton. You know, we go way back, all the way back to high school, and you've been a positive impact on young people around here. And it's really a pleasure to be in the presence of great men who serve our young people, serve education, and that's where we come from.
Excellent. That's right.
Thank you, brother. Also tonight we have one of Virginia Union University's legendary basketball players with us. We have Buster Perkins also with us tonight. Buster, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I'm Buster Perkins from McGee, Arkansas. Graduated from Virginia Union, social work background. I'm proud to say I was a part of a good team and great group of guys at Virginia Union, and was able to go across seas and be able to experience a good lifestyle to get paid to play basketball. So thank you for having me.
Great. Tonight we're blessed. I really feel that God moves in certain ways, and I was blessed enough to be at a basketball game on Sunday at the Freedom Classic, Virginia Union University versus Virginia State. And I was sitting a couple seats down from Coach Mike Bailey. And so I think that was a blessing to be in his presence, but to be in his space where he actually acknowledged me and came over and he gave me a huge hug and thanked me for what I had been doing as well in the community. So, Coach, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I really want you to jump right into what you're doing and what you have going on today.
First of all, again, anybody in education and athletics under God is right up my alley. I'm blessed, again, to be in position to mentor youth is what I've been doing since I graduated from Virginia Union University. I majored in education. A lot of people don't know that I was a fifth grade teacher for 5 years at Southampton Model School in the city of Richmond. That's where I got my first job. Well, actually, that was my second job. My first job was at Beaumont Learning Center here in the city of Richmond, a juvenile justice correctional center. I really think I got a lot of my discipline from working at Beaumont, so hats off to those people out there. They're great people doing great things, being of service to people. But Richmond Public Schools, again, is where I've gotten my start at Milton Bell. So when I was teaching, man, I would see people like Milton Bell, knowing that he was from John Marshall High School and knowing that he was just doing so many great things on the court. And a guy from Richmond goes to a school like Georgetown, you got to follow him. So, sometimes, you don't know who's following you and praying for you and wishing you well and success. But, that's what I was doing. And there's people all over the city of Richmond that was doing the same thing. So we're very proud of Milton Bell graduating from high school, doing a great job representing his school and his family and taking his talents and careers to a major college and university in Georgetown. I'm so crazy, Milt. I even had a Georgetown jacket when I was at Virginia Union as a football player. So Georgetown meant the world to me. And St. John's, I used to watch those rivalries because I grew up in I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Long Island and Queens, and St. John's and Georgetown and Syracuse. I'm just trying to tell you, man, anytime those three triangles play where I'm from, everybody stopped what they're doing. It's not like now with the telephones on the access, but Georgetown, St. John's, and Syracuse, and Pearl Washington, and that family, man, I'm just trying to tell you that's basketball at its highest. So that's how much respect I have for Milton Bell and his ability to be recruited by Georgetown and have much success at Georgetown University. So congratulations, Milton Bell and the Richmond metropolitan area for producing a fine young man like Milton Bell. That's what I'm about. That's what I noticed, and that was just a great thing to see you at the Freedom Classic and celebrating Martin Luther King. And I'm going to come out to things like that. And it was just good to see you, Tim, Chris Green, Buster, all of these basketball players that I've been working with a good part of my career. It was just good to see you guys out in that arena. It was just one event that I could go to and I could actually sit down and watch the event. Most of the time when I'm at events, man, I'm working, I'm doing event management, talking to police and security or hospitality. But at the Freedom Classic, man, do you know that's the first time in Richmond I actually got a chance to sit down and shut up and watch the game?
Coach, looked like you were enjoying it as well.
I did, because I was able to sit down and shut up and watch the game. I had a great seat, thanks to Johnson Inc., a marketing firm, who's a first-class marketing firm run by Ken Johnson, another very solid product and young man from Richmond, doing great things for the community, bringing in sponsors, recognizing Martin Luther King for his efforts and trying to tie in the community. That's what Johnson Inc. is about. And Ken Johnson is a great guy. He's one of my partners in business. And hats off to people like Milton Bell and Ken Johnson. If you don't know those people right now, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know them, who those guys are.
Coach, we appreciate it. We are really blessed to have you guys take the time out of your Sunday night. I think there's some great football that is actually going on right now. So us guys that are football fanatics want to apologize, but we won't keep you guys long. Coach Sharpe, we're really blessed to have you here today. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing with the youth here in North Carolina and in Richmond, Virginia. Talk about yourself.
Well, I'm a graduate of Marshall Walker High School, 1986. I was I played football, basketball, track, swimming. I got tapped into the National Honor Society. I was number 7 in the class of 297 students. My best friend he was a valedictorian. I went to school in North Carolina A&T. I had trials and tribulations up there. What I found is if you have no direction, you go nowhere. And when I finally found one, I went from the poor list to the dean's list. And once I graduated from A&T, I went to Virginia State and I got my master's in history. And I coached football briefly at John Marshall High School. I fell in love with working with young people. And I've been working really in an alternative setting with young people who were, kind of giving up on and thrown out of school. I taught science and I taught social studies. And what I learned is that, there's brilliance in everyone. Okay. In my studies, I looked up the term education, and it comes from 3 concepts: educio, and shun, the suffix. E is to bring out. Ducio means that which is already within, and shun represents a process. So that was something that stuck with me all throughout my career, looking into the person. Because see, the Bible says that before your mother knew you in the womb, I formed you. So if he formed us, the biggest thing for us to do is to be ourselves. And education allows us the opportunity to do that. And so I was involved with coaching, counseling, and at present I'm still involved with education of elementary students.
Hey, Milt, one time, not to interrupt.
You good?
Hey, Milt, I just got a text. I just got a text saying that it wasn't being picked up. I just wanted to double check and let you guys know that.
Right. I'm going to make sure that I'm sending you guys the correct site that's going to be going out where the people can log in.
Let me try to pull it up online too.
Buster's going to be pulling that up for us now. And so while we have you here, Coach, do a little more talking about yourself, Coach. We are so blessed to have you here and to have your brain to pick, if you will. So just elaborate on what you see that needs to be done. Of course, we're not comparing generations by no means, but just in your opinion, what can be done to not repair, but to help the youth with what they're going on and have things going on in life?
Well, again, being in education and professional in education and having over 30 years in education slash athletics, I've had an opportunity to work with students from kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade, where I am now at my high school. I'm working with students from grades 9 through 12 at Highland Springs High School here in Henrico County. But one of the things I see is that the students need a little bit more direction. And I'm not just talking about Highland Springs High School. I'm talking about students in K through 12 across the nation. You know, sometimes I'm on TV. I told you I watch the nightly news every night, and then I go to the local news. When I see the local news and I see candles and balloons going in the air because somebody was shot, killed, murdered, or had an incident in the city that they couldn't resolve with their hands or their mouth, that kind of bothers me. And then it just seems like, man, I just don't want to see these balloons and candles every time. So we got to go back and look at what's happening in the community to the point where the end result is somebody dies. That's just not good. So for me, that means we're not preparing and educating young people to the point where they have basic life skills to settle situations like that without the gun. So that bothers me when you work in a setting working with, again, I got to keep saying this, from kindergarten to 12th grade, we got to do a better job of accessing the school systems through professional people and mentors. And that's why we're working with Life Coach Academy, because, again, it allows us to do that. Life Coach Academy allows us to put college students in the school systems and working with students from grades K through 12. It allows professional people to enter the schools and the school systems and be hands-on with the young people. You know, kindergarten people need to see what a doctor dresses like, what a doctor drives. They need to know where a doctor lives, you know, things of that nature. We keep talking about, you know, we want to improve the lives of our people, but we're not doing enough things to show young people how to get there. So at the end of the day, if the students don't see a vision and a light at the end of the tunnel and a goal through education, we kind of wasting our time. We're paying a lot of people in education so that they can take their vacations. And I really got a problem with that. Life coaches are people that coach young people that are more concerned with success long term. That's a life coach. That's what I am to many. But I have been coached by a lot of coaches, because there's a difference between a life coach, which is what Buster will tell you, and there's a difference between a life coach and a coach. A coach simply wants to win, and that's why they're paying them so many millions of dollars now across the United States and the world. They're paying these coaches that want to win, and everything is based on wins and losses. Okay, well, you're paying those coaches all of those millions of dollars, but at the same time, they're coaches. They're not life coaches, so they're interested in winning. So they're not interested in what those athletes are going to be doing 5 and 10 and 15. So for me, I really don't want coaches coaching our youth, because it's an epidemic. You know, I told you I watched the nightly news and the local news, and you hear people talking about the opioid crisis. And, you know, I'm not impressed about that and the awareness. I want to talk about why is it that we have so many athletes in America that have played intercollegiate athletics and have not gotten an opportunity to complete their college degree. And, you know, so right now they're talking about paying them a little bit more money while they're in these programs. You know, okay, that's okay. Yeah, they need those stipends, but I want the NCAA and other people to go back and help put these guys back in college, at colleges and universities across the nation, and help them pay for for these guys to complete their degree. And I'm going to take it as far as I can take it. And that's what Life Coach Academy is about. And so that's what my focus is. And the people that I'm talking to are listening. So one aspect of where I'm going with my mentorship program is to put more professionals in the school systems that are cleared to be in the school system. There are some people that we don't want in the school systems. I'm not calling their names out and that kind of thing. But there are a bunch of people that we want in the school systems. Talking to kindergarten people, elementary, middle, and high school people, and being mentors and tangible and being hands-on with those guys. So that's where my immediate action plan comes into play, and that's what sparked a light at the Freedom Classic when I saw you, Milton Bell, when I see Buster, when I see Tim, when I see Chris Green. Many of these guys have graduated and have gone on and done very positive things in the community. But there are some of these guys that I have mentioned, and I can go on and on with football and basketball, whatever kind of sport you want to talk about. I have so many people out there that have not completed their degree. And I say I have them because I'm taking responsibility, as I want other administrators and professionals in education and government and business people to realize that these men and these women are out there. They really want to finish their college degree, but they don't have, number one, the information, which is what we're going to provide. But not only we're going to provide the information, but we're going to provide the resources. That's where the Life Coach Academy comes in. We have, through the Life Coach Academy, a scholarship foundation, 501c3, that's been up and running for 4 years. We established it in 2014, got a lot of people helping me. And our number one goal is to reach out, and get all of these student athletes that want to graduate. You got to want to graduate now, because we're not wasting time, because it's more valuable than money. So if they want to graduate, we're providing opportunities to put them back in institutions and colleges where they can complete their college degree one student at a time. So that's where we're going. But the Life Coach Academy, which is what I talked to you about, that is, again, we're sending life coaches back to the elementary schools, to the middle schools, and the high schools to be mentors. And through the Life Coach Academy, I call it LCAP, that's Life Coach Academy's professional people. Our program is going to be set up so that doctors will register with the Life Coach Academy and have time and make time available for them to enter our school systems and be mentors. I was looking up some of the mentorship programs that exist today in Richmond and some of the cities in Brooklyn and in Atlanta. Do you know that they cap the number of mentors that can assist our kids? How could you cap help? I got a problem with that. So if you're capping the number of mentors that can enter our school systems and mentor kids, what are you saying to yourself? So, number one, we are not capping anybody. You know, you have to go through certain qualifications to clear yourself to be a life coach, but we're not capping people. And we're going into these schools, again, to reach out to students from K through 12. Those are just some of the young people I've been working with for a long time, and they're doing great jobs.
Coach, that's huge what you're saying. And, of course, people that know you know those are heartfelt words. And so one of your former students, Buster Perkins, speaks so highly of you. We're going to turn it over to Buster Perkins and just want him to elaborate on what Coach said. Of course, you're from Virginia Union, and you're one of the legends that we have around here, of course, along with Chris Green, Brad Byerson, Braxton Byerson, Tim Young. It's something that Coach is trying to form. I'm happy to be a part of it. And anything that I can help, it's kind of like I told Coach, I said, anything that I can help and bring positive energy to anything you're trying to do as far as kids, then you can count me in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what you said, and I'm going to hold you to it. And for me to have that kind of relationship with you, and starting out this way, where we formally introduced ourselves and hugged and celebrated our success at the Freedom Classic, I told Milton, for everybody out there, that I want Milton Bell to lead the Richmond metropolitan area as a director of Life Coach Academy because he's a trusted guy, he's under God, and he doesn't have time to waste, and he's very comfortable with going into school systems from the elementary, middle, and high school and sharing his story so that he can continue to be of service to others. And that's what Milton is about. When he talks about God and things of that nature, for me, I'm not in church every Sunday, but with my respect to my religion is order. Okay? I believe in order. I believe in discipline. I believe in organization. I believe that godliness is cleanliness, or cleanliness is godliness, however you want to put it. Since I've traveled the country from Maine to Florida and California, I've been at so many events across the nation. The reason I am not involved now with the NCAA is because I don't want to fly anywhere anymore. But I have to get back to flying again because Life Coach Academy is going to branch out nationally on January the 27th, this Saturday. We will be introducing our national spokesman and director for Life Coach Academy. Our number one goal is to increase the number of students that are attending HBCUs and other colleges and universities throughout the Commonwealth of the state of Virginia, but we're going national because this is a serious crisis. It's worse than the opioid crisis. With that opioid crisis, people are making decisions to use drugs. When you're working with students from K to 12, you have to guide their decisions. So this is worse because these students are not being guided enough to the point where they can be successful 5, 10, and 15 years from now. So this is an immediate action plan. I've talked to congressmen. I've talked to police officers. I've talked to university presidents. I'm bringing in people that can make an impact on this. And if they can't, I don't want anything to do with them. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I completely agree with Coach Bailey. I think this is definitely a need in the community. And when I was growing up, I had a lot of people that you can call life coaches that were in my life that helped guide me in the right direction. And I'm just blessed to be able to be a part of this type of opportunity. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, you remember when you say that some of these coaches today are more like just coaching, I want to win.
Yeah.
I grew up in Richmond recreation, and I had coaches that were life coaches. You know, they stood in the gap, in the breach. You know, I was blessed to have my father with us when we played, but it was a lot of men who were there who gave us that foundation, life coach foundation. And so,
right.
So you know, now that I'm at this age, you know, I do that for. I'm actually working in an elementary school now, and it's one of the most beautiful things that you can work with young people, and they look up at you and they say, "It's a man here who's working."
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you can actually touch the life of a young person. You know, these young boys raise their hand and say, "Yeah, raise your hand. Go up to the board.
Yeah.
Go up to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the answer. Get there." So I become not only a coach, cheerleader, counselor, because a lot of you know when you become a teacher, you wear a lot of hats in the world we living in now. So being able to touch the lives of young people and push them towards
that makes you a life coach. That's what I don't want to cut you off, but that makes you a life coach. Okay, so there's a bunch of life coaches across America, but there are a lot of coaches across America.
Yeah.
These people are focused on winning, and there's a lot of teachers out there who are focused on SOLs and exams and passing those. So they're in the same boat as those coaches, but there are life teachers out there that you remember, I have, that I'm never going to disappoint.
Right.
So when you have a life coach or a life teacher, I don't care where you are and what situation you get in the back of your mind, you know you are not going to disappoint that coach. the life coach or the life teacher. So that's the relationship we're trying to build. So if I can give a kindergarten student a life coach, and the life coach gets his message across or her message across to the young people, you don't know what young people are about until you have worked with them intensely and closely in a setting and in a classroom. You cannot bear false witness to an elementary school student. They will call you out on it. They will call you out. You cannot lie to anybody in an elementary school, and when 30 of them are looking at you, they will raise their hand, and I've been through that. So my simple point is that the blessing I received from Southampton Model School and having an opportunity to be in charge of 25 to 30 for an entire year, for 5 years, seeing different ones, they will testify, and you will hear some crazy testimonies about those days. But those children that I taught at Southampton Model School, now they're parents and they have kids. They will be at this event on January 27th at the downtown Hilton when we have our press conference to release our spokesman and national director for Life Coach Academy. And we're going to interview. We have some interviews set up again because until you get it from the source, it's not going to make much sense to you. So we're developing relationships with, again, students in grades K through 12. We're putting life coaches, and hopefully some of the teachers will come and hear our message because, again, they need to be coached. Because if you're teaching students on a regular basis and your number one goal is to get them to pass the SOL, I don't want to hear that for the most part. That's just not good right now.
Well, look at the mathematics on this. If I don't do what I need to do, I'm just seeking SOL pass. That's 25 kids that I did not develop. The next year it's 25 kids I did not develop.
You're in the wrong profession. You have no business in front of anybody's kid if you're not a life coach or a life teacher. That's my point. And
so what you have done is you have delayed over a 4-year period. You delayed 100 people that could positively impact everything because you did not educate.
Apply that also and that understanding to coaches that are at Division I institutions that only are concerned about winning. So how many people are you killing with regards to them coming out?
100 per year, maybe. On the football team, 100 something per year, perhaps.
Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk you guys to death. I'm telling you about Life Coach Academy and our scholarship foundation, 501c3 approved for 4 years. We're just taking it to the national level. We're coming out of the state of Virginia. We've done well, but we need to do more because everybody doesn't know about it. We're not going to keep it under the rug and keep it quiet. And sometimes, there are going to be some people embarrassed when the numbers come out with regards to graduation rates and what they're actually doing at these institutions. But at the end of the day, they need to be embarrassed. They need to see the numbers because the numbers don't lie. No. So when Life Coach Academy and our scholarship foundation, because it's public information, I'm just telling you, there's a March Madness coming up later on in the year. But when we post these graduation rates and completely tell this story, that's going to be the new March Madness. Maybe it's hashtag real March Madness. I don't know. But we're not going to bite our tongue, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go back to the elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. And we're going to put life coaches in those schools. And we're going to put professional people, again, life coaches, doctors, lawyers, firemen, police officers, things of that nature. We're going to put those people back in our schools through registering to be a life coach through Life Coach Academy on our website. We had to tear it down because it will be launched on January the 27th at the downtown Hilton. So the website that we had to take it down. It's being revamped as we speak. My social media and web guy said, Coach, just leave it to Saturday. But right now you can follow any of our movements on our Instagram. And that's how we want it for the next 6 days. And Milton will share the way to go on Instagram and follow our activity leading up to January the 27th for this press conference and release of our national director and spokesman of Life Coach Academy. Our mission, where we're going, we're making it very clear. We're not pulling punches. Our ultimate goal is to complete college degrees one student at a time but at the same time, we want to put life coaches in the schools, and we're going to certify them and do it the right way. That's where we're going, guys.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Coach, that's so deep what you said. And like I said, it's heartfelt. I think when I have you guys here and we talk about it, and for people that know you, it's something that is heartfelt. It comes from the heart.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we all have in common.
Right.
And I think it's a passion, especially when you come from the environment that we all did as young kids. You want better for the future generation. So it's about Buster.
I think it's about bridging the gaps. That's basically what I hear, and I'm happy to be a part of it because I know that's what helped me. And I notice when I work with kids nowadays, when I work with National Counseling Group, I see a lot of the kids need this extra help and attention, and us being here and being able to provide opportunities is what they need, and for us to follow through, that says a lot about our generation. So, yeah.
Okay.
Coach, I'm actually putting on my Twitter page right now, which goes to my website, so all of the information, so that everyone who needs to get in contact with you and want to support what you have going on, they can follow you. It'll be on my social as well. It will be on Buster's social media, and it will also be on Jack Sharpe. And
Right.
so people hopefully will see it everywhere they turn. I think
They
that's
will.
what you're trying to accomplish. And so I appreciate you giving me the chance to help you spread your word.
Right.
We want to talk to Buster. Buster, who is our point man, he's going to talk about some of the other gentlemen who were also at that meeting.
Right.
Buster will be talking about Buster Perkins, who is our point guard, as we call. He's the go-to guy, but he's the sharp one, if you will. He's the one who has the know-how and the skill to get things done. I think the way that you want things done.
Yeah, well, I can tell you a lot about Brad Byerson, Chris Green, and Tim Young, but what I can say about them and what's made them and a lot of my other teammates so special is that they take care of business, and the same effort that they put in on the court is the same effort that they give in real life. And I've never had to question that, and that's how we clicked. And I think that's what made us special and made us a winning team when we were in college. And so that friendship just extended on after college as we've got our degrees and went our separate ways, but we still keep in touch. And those guys are like family. So, yeah, I'm happy to do something with my brothers, my comrades. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
And Milt, just not to interrupt, but all of those guys, I already met with them personally. They all are life coaches. They've been approved through Life Coach Academy. They will be at the event on January the 27th. You'll get a chance to, the community will get a chance to meet some of our life coaches in person. As I said, the national director and spokesman will be introduced, and he will be the guest speaker. I don't want to release the name right now because that's just my decision at this point. I'm the CEO and founder of Life Coach Academy and our scholarship foundation, Rings versus Rent, which goes back to help former athletes complete their college degree. That's where we've been doing for the last 4 years. But Life Coach Academy is brand new. And again, it's just a need because from elementary school, middle school, and spending 19 years on a college campus, representing the CIAA, representing the NCAA, being an athletic director, president within the conference. I've just seen a lot of things happen, and I just really appreciate the power of my degree in education and where it has taken me all across the nation. I just think I've been everywhere. With regards to venues and seminars and just trying to be a better person and listen at what other people are doing around the nation to improve the lives of young people. Now, don't get me wrong, it might sound like I had a little fire in me earlier because I do. I just don't like when we see the news, man, and it's just a clear reflection that we're not reaching enough of our young people in the elementary school. At Highland Springs High School, and I got to mention this, they have a great history of success in football right now. They're the hottest thing in the nation.
Yeah.
I got to tell you why. Hats off is to Coach Lauren Johnson, but even more important than Lauren has life coaches on his staff, and most of them have college degrees. Probably 90% of those guys graduated from college. So, people think that they're winning because they have a lot of talent, and I want to tell you they do, but they're also winning because they're life coaches. I've been in the classroom where Lauren is teaching and working and trying to, prepare themselves for events, but at the same time, he's making sure his boys are fed. I've seen him give his lunch to football players off his tray. That's a life coach. So I'm not going to let that story go quietly. He's winning because he's a life coach and he knows everything about everybody on his team.
Yeah.
And he has a great support system with a booster organization, and he has great support from the county of Henrico. He can't lose if he wants to because he has a great work ethic and he has a level of support that can't be matched. So that's part of the reason why he has won 3 state championships. The crazy people around here think I had something to do with it. I don't have anything to do with football. My communication with Lauren is, what do you need when? Right. And then he goes to work. Right. So he doesn't have to scratch his head, get on lawn mowers to cut the grass, mark field. I'm just trying to make Coach Johnson's life easier. He is going to win. I don't care where he goes because he's a life coach. So I had to point that out because people give me credit for the 3 state championships. That's not me. I haven't called one play. Lauren went to the board for me one time and told me how he was going to kill this defense because they had this safety right here, and he killed them. That's the only time I talked football to him. Everything else was about, what do you need? When do you need it? Let me see if I can get it. Mm-hmm. That's a life coach. That's what we want to support. His guys, Lauren is sending 25 kids to college every year. And I want that number to be 50 or 100. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, Lauren plays against a lot of coaches that are not life coaches. And what I tell Lauren is, hey, man, if that's what you're going up against, bust every light bulb in the scoreboard out. I can get you light bulbs. But maybe this is your way to show them a lesson about how you are really in position to develop young men, have discipline in your program, and have one voice that leads the program. That program moves on that man's voice. I've been through the same thing with Dave Robbins. Buster would tell you that. Mm-hmm. Dave Robbins is a workaholic. All I did for Coach Robbins is ask him, what do you need when? I'll try my best to get it. If I can't get it, I'm going to tell you that. But for both of those guys, and let me guarantee you one thing, I got them everything I can get through the administration or anybody that can help me to put those people in position. That's why Dave Robbins is a national championship coach in basketball. People tried to give him a bad rep about education and graduation rates. Hey, man, let me guarantee you one thing. And I was mad at Dave when Dave gave me this answer. I said, Coach, what about the guys that are not graduating? He said, Coach Mike, everybody that wanted to graduate in my program graduated. Absolutely. And I never talked to him about anything else about his graduation rates. Yeah. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But at the end of the day, man, people got to want to graduate, got to want to do better. You got to want to go to class. You want to be the best possible person you can be. But that's life coaching definitions and activity and behavior that we have to reinforce, and that's why we're starting at kindergarten. What, you guys want me to just go and talk to 9th graders? Or you want me to talk to people that are already going to be recruited? We have people from Highland Springs. The left tackle is at Louisville. Right. Okay? Greg Dortch is at Georgia Tech. He's the best thing in Georgia. We have people all over the country doing well. But those people would not be there if they were not coached by life coaches. Do you guys understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
so,
I do have a question, Coach.
Go ahead. Any question you have?
Yeah. you know, it hurts me to put your heart and soul into young people, to give them what they need on the inside, so that they have so that like they come as a shaken cup because of what goes on at home, and when you work on them and the cup slows down, so you can then start pouring something into them. And it's not reinforced. It's not reinforced at home. So sometimes you gotta retrain when they come in Tuesday over and over. And see, like, I work with kids who were put out of the home. They were in locked facilities. Like I was in Oak Ridge. Yeah. And I was in another place. But to the reinforcement is a big piece. Now, if we could get life coaches to be able to extend into the community, that would be something, man.
Let me say this to you: the safest institutions right now are schools and banks. You got me? Mm-hmm. So you're going to improve the community through education. You're not going to improve the community in some of these other areas that people are focusing on. So when you improve the schools and the kids in the classroom, eventually they're going to branch out, and that's how the community's going to get better. We're around here, trying to improve the wrong things. We're around here trying to build stadiums and add this and that to make things look good. I call that flowers. You can put flowers on anything. But when you're a life coach and you're working with people from kindergarten to 12th grade, those are bricks. Mm-hmm. Those are bricks. So my life coaches will be helping me to put in place bricks. Now we're building. We're not doing flowers. We're 0% athletic events. That's not where we're going. Okay, we don't want certificates and trophies and rings. We want high school students focused on getting into colleges across the state because there are grants available and they don't know it. There's a TAG grant available for about $4,000. Did you guys know that? Our kids don't know it. There's financial aid and resources available where our kids can probably commute to 4-year colleges by way of Uber, train, walk, bus. I don't care how they get there. But they're in the neighborhood and nobody's giving them this information, and they are fully qualified for financial aid. Mm-hmm. So who's going to tell them that? Who's going to tell them that? A teacher that doesn't care about them?
We're going to have to tell them. We the ones that got to tell them.
No. We're not going to tell them. You watch what Life Coach Academy does. They're going to find out from us.
Coach, it's big. It's incredible what you're doing. While we got a little break in action, wanted to give the people here on TMBT Radio, wanted to give them my social media, want to give them your social media, and so I'm going to have you call out the social media that you want them to contact you on, and then we'll go around the board. You'll say yours first, then I'll say mine, and then Buster, so that everyone has a reason, or no one can say that they weren't able to find you or get in contact with myself or whoever. You want to state some social media sites where they can contact you?
Right now, the Instagram, I have a social media director, and he's going to kill me if I mess this up, but he's a good guy. He's the one that told me to tear down my website, and he's going to release the new web on January 27th. It's going to go public. But right now, it's My Life Coach Academy. Follow that on Instagram. It'll give you all the information about our events, what we're doing, how to become a life coach, the true definition of a life coach, and where we're going. It'll explain to you the processes and action plan, the Act Now program to re-enter the school systems, not only in the city of Richmond, Henrico County, Chesterfield. We've already have life coach directors within the metropolitan area. They will be introduced on Saturday as well. The Byerson guys, you got to understand, man, those 3 Byerson boys from Chesterfield County, You know, I'm gonna let their mom tell the story, but all three of those guys graduated. All of them played high quality Division II basketball, and they're just a success story in itself. So that's going to be one of our lead groups, helping people in Chesterfield County. They'll help anybody in Chesterfield County that wants to go through the Life Coach Academy and want to accomplish the mission that we set. Our mission statement and anything, all of that is going to be released on January the 27th at 4 o'clock at the downtown Hilton. So again, I'm so excited, man. We got a national spokesman. He just got a great history. I'm going to introduce him, but after I introduce to you our national spokesman and Life Coach Academy director, I'm not going to talk anymore because I'm going to have a Life Coach Academy director. He's going to tell you where we are with our existing climate, and he's going to give everybody the mission of where we're going. The end result is going to be an increased population of students attending HBCUs and other colleges and universities throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're talking Virginia first. We will appoint life coaches within the next, before July 1st, we will appoint life coach directors in the city of Atlanta, in the city of Philadelphia, in the city of Delaware, in the city of Washington, D.C., North Carolina and South Carolina and Florida has signed on tonight. You guys might not understand where we are today with this interview, but I guarantee you on January the 27th at 4 o'clock at the downtown Hilton, the life spokesman, the director and spokesman for Life Coach Academy is going to tell you exactly what our plans are. It's an aggressive attack, and it's an immediate action plan for now. We're not delaying because you're working with young people in grades from kindergarten to 12th grade. There's no time to delay. We're talking about awarding scholarships for the up-and-coming fall semester for student athletes that have exhausted their eligibility, that want to go back to college starting in the fall semester, gentlemen. This is not a preach, a teach, a talk type element. It's very professionally ran. We've been official and current in our taxes for 4 years. There's transparency. We have bankers on board. We have people talking about shoe deals with regards to being sponsors. We have automobile dealers coming at us for transportation and support. I told you we've talked to congressmen and political figures, so it's about as big as it can get. I'm so excited about it for this reason. It's 0% athletic events involved and 100% education to the metropolitan area and metropolitan areas throughout the country. We're not going to athletic events, guys. You know, we're not awarding trophies. We're not shooting to win rings. Our sole mission is to increase the number of students attending HBCUs and other colleges and universities throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia and the United States of America. When I tell you some people are going to get their feelings hurt, I don't care about that. They need to get their feelings hurt. They're being paid to educate our youth and to be life teachers and life coaches and life policemen. Some of my best friends throughout the nation are in the criminal justice department. I have people that I've graduated in this criminal justice field and have elevated themselves that I went to kindergarten with in Long Island in New York. I have a friend that runs the Department of Correctional Facilities on Long Island. He locks up probably, I don't know what the number is, but he's in charge of all of them. He's coming in and speaking at our next event, not on January 27th. There's another event coming up where we're bringing in people that are going to tell their story about, you know, things that are impacting our community, you know, lawfully and unlawfully. You know, at the end of the day, guys, you know, I saw a very disturbing video, and I keep seeing them. You know, one was a kid, is a 5-year-old kid. Somebody taught him how to dance, and that's cool. I don't mind that. But well, you know, me as crazy as I am, I'm like, well, who is teaching them how to read and write? What does his handwriting look like?
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
That kind of stuff. So I don't want to talk anymore, guys. I love you. I appreciate what you're doing to help us get the word out. But on January the 27th, man, we're going to just bring a different kind of awareness to where we're going with Life Coach Academy. I'm excited about our national director and spokesman. I'm excited about web launching on that day, and that's where we go. If anybody has any questions or wanted to call in, I'll entertain some of those questions right now. But again, Milton, I want to thank you, man, for giving us an opportunity to move the Life Coach Academy in the right direction. Between what you're doing, Milton, and you're going to take it to Georgetown, and then you and I are going to talk. We have Georgetown people on board that are going to continue to help us. It's just spreading across the nation, man. It's just an Act Now program, and I'm excited about it.
Coach, amen to everything you said. I wanted to give the listeners my social media. They can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is @MiltonBellTeam, and that will also take you to my Facebook, the Milton Bell Team. I'm on Facebook, also on Instagram. And so I know we had some people who wanted to join in on my Instagram, so I made it public. And so, Buster, did you want to say your social media as well?
Has anybody any questions come in, boss?
Not yet. So not just yet.
That's fine. We'll answer all questions later, but that's fine. I know they had some difficulty. I had gotten a text where somebody had difficulty logging on, but hopefully we got that straight. But we will get it straight. But I just appreciate you guys' effort.
Well, it'll be going live, and then once we finish up, they can also go back and hear it in its entirety.
Okay.
So it's live, but it'll be saved, and they can go back and listen to it and download it as many times as they want. Jack, I wanted you to say your social media.
I can be reached. It's best to reach me on email, jcsharpe2@gmail.com. And basically, my focus is definitely dealing with family first, and developing students as people. And we work heavily. I work afternoon program with middle school students, day program with elementary students, and being an effective role model and struggling to find where we can fill in the gaps is a big concern. Mm-hmm. This week we've been covering, I've been focused on the work of Dr. King, not just the social integration, but dealing with education success. We've also been talking about, we want to get into the proper usage of economic development based on not only proper buying habits, but understanding needs and wants and how the system works and how we can use money. So we foster an environment of knowledge of self, knowledge of what we can and cannot do, realistic goal setting, so that we can make a positive impact. We also do community relations. We invite them in to visit with us, and we work with parents. And make sure I make contact with parents and discuss things that their children need and provide support wherever possible. So those are all aspects that we have to work on. And as I see it, we have, in the United States where we live in, education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health are all aspects of our development that need to be addressed. We have experts in all areas of expertise, and as a system has been made around us, we can make a new system. Like the book says, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the old one, as you can see, is starting to pass away. So the new one has to come through the people who want to make it to the next one. So that starts with us putting forth this effort, education-wise, entertainment-wise, changing if we change how we think, we change how we act. We change how we act, we can portray that differently. We're trying to pull the cover off of what is an insulting thing sent to us. Like we watching, it's nice to see the young man dancing at 5, but it's nice to see him dancing in clothes that he designed at 5.
Yeah.
It's nice to see those young girls fussing with each other, but it's also nice to see young girls discussing, you know what, you really good with your hair. How can we put that to use to make something happen?
Right.
I was familiar with a marketing class. I'm not going to say where, but I'll say this. If I were doing this, and I met with entrepreneurs that are local in the area that went to school here, the first thing that was given was, you go and get you a business license. Because what I'm going to do is teach you how to make your own. So if you out of 25 students, you can have potentially 25 entrepreneurs. And we actually have opportunity. All of these young people have beautiful ideas if they're allowed to be creative with it. If we can foster a support network around them, as you discussed with Coach and the football team, for them to be champions 3 times in a row with the support of Coach being a life coach.
Right.
I can see young people on the academic side with that kind of support.
That's where we're going.
That kind of push. And also, see, I worked in the Highland Springs area too.
Yeah.
Now, we live there. This is your community. You build right around that school. And everything that you need should be right around that school. So we really pushing towards that. And I think that your idea is a great one, sir. I applaud that. And, you know, I come from a tradition of life coaches.
Right.
I was born, and I tell people, you know, it's a special type of person to be made for this work. You called to do this work because it's time. And if you don't do this work,
question coming in,
we're in some trouble.
Yeah. So,
Coach, I hope you don't mind. I'd like to give you a round of applause right now. Coach, for everything that you're doing. Give you a round of applause for everything that you're doing.
We have a question that came in.
We have a question. Buster has a question.
Former teammate, champion, Philip Moore, I think he'd like to put his best foot forward and help in any type of capacity. He asks, will the meeting on the 27th be available via Facebook Live or an online source for people not being able to make it to Virginia?
yes. And the thing about that particular meeting, man, it's a credential-only event. Right now, it's looking like 500 people, and it's almost sold out. So, again, Instagram-wise, you're going to need to react pretty quick, starting probably Wednesday at noon. They're going to the website will be up to the point where you can click on and ask for credentials to be admitted into the event. It's sold out at 500. I'm just telling you, I don't want to create anything crazy, but it's a credential-only piece at this point because of the people that we're asking to come and to hear our national director speak, and all of the local media will be there and television. I've already given my life coaches 10 credentials each. I told those guys, Buster, you know what I told them? Use the credentials wisely. Make sure you're inviting people that will support you and your mission towards education and college degree completion and being a life coach and a mentor for young people from ages K through 12. But you really want to attend this. But I'll talk to, again, my social media director. I know he can pull it off, but at this point, I appreciate the question, Phil. And guys like Phil there are a lot of people that look up to Phil. So I want Phil to continue to be a life coach and bring all of those youth under his belt. And anybody that wants to be a life coach, you know, we're going to fill you guys in because, again, we got to go into the school systems, guys, because I've been there. I'm qualified from kindergarten to graduate school with one-on-one relationships and mentor programs, and mentee programs are capped. My wife told me that mentee programs are capped, so not necessarily mentor programs are capped with how many mentors or kids we can access. So we're never going to put a cap on anything that we're doing. And I have so many life coaches out there, guys. You're gonna fall out when you hear some of the people that will provide testimonies about the importance of education, college degree completion, And just some of the stories. You know, we got some really stories out there from guys that are from D.C., Buster's from Arkansas. I'm from New York. We got Philly, Texas. These guys are going to tell you how important it is that they received information from a life coach. But I'm also going to ask them to tell, you know, some of these horror stories about having coaches in their lives that weren't really concerned about their academic future or them being taught basic life skills to succeed. Those people are out there, man, and they're getting paid millions of dollars, and they're just putting the money in the bank, and they don't really care that they've coached people that are not successful today. I know there's student athletes out there that they burn fries for fast food chains, and they played at four-year institutions. If y'all okay with that, I don't want you coming to this event.
Right. Yeah.
Coach, it's a blessing. Like I said, you're going to hear me use those words. Blessing, amen, when you talk, because everything you say is truth. It's blessings. And it's blessings that people have a chance to hear you say it in your own words, and they get a chance to understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And to know that we're on your team, that we have your back. And I'm just glad to be along for the ride. Once again, I always get so many people that say, "Hey, Milt, how can we tune into what you're doing?" So Buster's going to say his social media.
Oh yeah, my social media. It's simple. @22_BDP on Instagram. I think it's Buster22 Perkins on Twitter. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Buster, guys, I just want to tell you, Buster is a director in Life Coach Academy. He didn't want to say that, but Buster is going to represent Arkansas and do a lot of things for in Virginia. But Buster right now, and Milton will tell you that Buster is so serious about appointments and being on time and getting guys together to do the right thing. So really right now, he's kind of an assistant director for me and helping me get my information out. And he's going to be working real close with the director of our web and social media. I'm not on Facebook. This is the first time I've gone to Instagram because my social media coordinator told me, "Coach, you can't be quiet about this." So that's why I'm on Instagram now, which is going to lead to Facebook and some other areas. But it's not for enjoyment or entertainment, any of my social media, because that's not my alley. When I'm on social media, it's because it's going to impact young people from kindergarten to graduate school. That's my social media for the United States of America. I'm not going to be on anything else talking about parties or hats and cars and rings and celebrations and trophies and all of that. I don't do that.
Got you.
Coach, that's huge. I also wanted to say people can also go to my website, which is www.miltonbellbasketball.com. Also my Twitter @MiltonBellTeam. Facebook, you guys can call. You guys can go on my website, and we have a phone number where you can call. We do live chat. So whatever you guys need, you can get in contact with everyone that can help. And the good thing is that you're trying. Good things that you're trying.
Well, one thing I also wanted to add into all of this, you know, as
where is it? Just not here.
You know, as I'm not just, you know, I'm not just an educator. I'm also a parent. And one of the things is modeling success for not only my sons and daughters and my and also my grandchildren. You know, in my house we have books, and we continue, you know, from babies on up. My wife and I, we push education books. We study. We push that support. And we model that for our children. We also model service for our children. And when we talk about youth and society, you know, society is, you know, it's real out those doors. When you have to earn a living, when you have to go out there and take care of your bills and take care of your families, social skills are vital. Being able to have the intestinal fortitude to overcome obstacles, to be able to find a way to support, to build friendships, to learn how to relate to other people, to have the courage to do the things that you need to support your own self and your own family. Those are the things that we're pushing. Along with our education.
Call life skills.
All day. So you got life, all aspects of life of what we as parents do, because we want to prevent, another word for father is further. And what we want to do is to further our children beyond us. Now, I look at the world as it is. I don't look at it pessimistically. I see the end of all of this madness that we see that you talked about earlier on the news when we stand up and do what we're supposed to do. I may not be able to see it, but I'm hoping that my granddaughter's granddaughter can see it. But we have to step and start now. We have to begin to push these things now. And with these young men around us that you see, Coach, we, in the old days, we did the leg work for the elders until we became elders, and we taught the young people to carry on after us. We gotta leave. We're gonna leave that legacy with these two young men that I'm standing with, Brother Milton and Buster. I'm seeing those rays of hope. Those little third graders and kindergartens, I see those eyes open and they put their hands up and say, "I want to answer the question. I want to be first in getting the right answer." Okay. Those type of things are what we push, and I see the end of our slumber. I see the resurrection of a whole entire people. This is a foundation for a new. That's what they talk about. This headstone of the corner. We had to be that headstone. And, like they say, it's a tried stone. We've been tried for 466 years, 463 plus years. So we got to keep that thing going. So I applaud their work. And I am encouraged by meeting these young men right here and working. I mean, like I said, I grew up with Milton. I graduated by the time he became superstar. I remember the slim young man, but I see what he does, and I worked with him in his group with these young men, and it's always been an honor to do such a thing.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Coach, we know you have to go. We really appreciate you being here with us. We're going to try to wrap on up. Wanted to say thank you so much. It's a blessing to have you here, to have your words, your energy, and it's a blessing. We want to say hello to Aaron Turner, who is normally our co-host, but his father is having some health issues, so he's not able to be with us today, but want to send some positive energy out to his family as well. And just wanted to wrap up, Coach. Any closing words that you want to say to people listening? Any small words, just a message to live by?
Basically, Buster, did you have something before I close out?
Oh, yes. We have a question that came in. We want to know, being that Martin Luther King's birthday just passed, happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King. We want to know, what does Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mean to you?
I don't have a lot of photos in my house and pictures of things of that nature, but I do have a nice piece of artwork of Martin Luther King hanging in my house. So for me, I have a dream. I remember in elementary school, I did some artwork, and I was actually able to make a film on that. So his vision means the world to me with regards to nonviolence and his mission for people to take care of themselves more so. He wasn't a guy that was an advocate on a lot of preaching and hollering and sweating and that kind of stuff in church. When Martin Luther King spoke, he gave you encouraging words. But when he finished speaking, he was an act now person. So that's what he means to me. And that's my DNA and how I receive it. And everybody else has their own way of receiving Martin Luther King as a global person of interest with regards to fighting for, this is what you guys got to listen to me with, fighting for civil rights. So do you imagine that he lost his life fighting for civil rights? And we got people that, are in school systems or in government positions around the country that don't support educational programs or even educate our youth about opportunities to be better people. So, Martin Luther King for me, I like those are those people I was talking about earlier. When you don't have life in front of your title, if you're a banker, you're supposed to be a life banker. You're supposed to tell people, educate people how to handle their finances, or make a way to do that and reach young people. We're just a celebrating flower awards, pat a person on the back society. And, that's kind of where we're missing the kids. Everybody wants immediate recognition for some work that they've done. I don't want any of those people to be life coaches. Mm-hmm. Our recognition and what we're going to do will come out in the numbers of students that we increase to go to HBCUs and in-state institutions around the country. Because in-state directors and people in charge, from councilmen and educators, have ways that they can provide resources for these kids to attend institutions of higher learning. So when you don't do that, and you have the power to do that, we want to bring those people out to the point where we're recognizing that they're not being accountable to the power that they have, and that has a major effect on our community. So people got to be careful when they ask me to speak about Martin Luther King, who doesn't care nothing about a championship ring,
right,
or a national championship. He never spoke to athletic competition and using kids. He was speaking to us so that we don't let that happen. So here we now, 2018, everybody wants to know about, March Madness and the billions of dollars that are going to be accumulated for that particular event. Oh, you guys don't woke up the wrong person through Milton Bell and what he means to me. We're going after that money to provide degree completion opportunities for anybody that has ever participated in March Madness or any of these institutions of higher learning that have turned their back on these athletes because they had coaches in charge of their day-to-day lives and activity. And that's the end result. So if it sounds a little fiery from me, man,
passion,
I'm just trying to... If it sounds a little fiery for me, you think that California had a problem with the fire. You wait till January 27th, and my national director for this speak, he's going to give you a serious financial impact, economic impact, an educational impact in discourse about where we are in 2018. And the thing about it is, he's not going to receive any awards. He's not in this business for awards and certificates and trophies and championship rings and to be applauded and pat him on the back. This guy is about having an economic impact on our youth and educating them and fostering and helping us to move them into institutions of higher learning and having a quality life so that everybody can continue to be of service to others. That's the last thing I'm going to say. It's an Act Now program. I appreciate you guys being on this radio, but I'm just trying to tell you now, if you thought I was fiery, when this guy speaks, and if it ends up in the White House, it's not my fault. We just want the funding to put our people in position to be successful all across the nation. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Coach Bailey, appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you, Coach. Coach,
all right,
thanks.
guys, we be in touch real quick. Thanks.
Okay, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
We're going to wrap up with Coach Bailey. Coach Michael Bailey is going to wrap up. We're going to continue on just to say a few more closing words ourselves with Coach Sharpe, Coach Perkins, and myself. It was just a blessing just to have him here, just to have his wisdom. And so it's something that I feel that just to be able to share with other people that maybe didn't have a chance to know him, or people that don't have a chance to meet him, just to share his energy. I think live, we could see it, but they couldn't. Just his energy was very, very contagious.
Yeah, it is very much so.
He's always been that type of gentleman, man. He has positive energy around him. He's always been supportive. I remember front and center at games back when I played at Virginia Union. He was always one of those, like I said, life coaches. Even back then, I think that's what made me feel so much a part of Virginia Union and Coach Dave Robbins. And when I got the phone call from Coach Coker to come here, it really made me feel at touch, and it really made me feel like family, and it made me relate to people I've been across, such as Coach Anthony Gosen from Ohio and Coach Sat Sullinger, who were always teaching me religiously that, you play the game like you live life and vice versa, and kind of try to spread the message to the youth as you go along. So it always feels good to be in his presence and to be able to help out with Coach Bailey, anybody from my school and that I've come across. So
It's big, man. Jack, how about you, brother? Any parting words?
One thing I was listening to the question that Buster asked about the feeling about Martin Luther King.
I got something for that too, by the way.
Well, if you want to go ahead and share what you got.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, please go first.
Okay. All right. Well, the impact it made on me, Dr. Martin Luther King. This is personal to me, but it's the fact. My dad took me to his Lorraine Hotel, the museum. I say the museum. I don't want to say his death place, but respectively, that was the first time me and my dad got to spend time together on a trip. So I always relate that back to my personal, history, and I see the impact that Dr. Martin Luther King had on the world as far as getting people to understand the vision, even if they didn't believe it. Kind of like how people believe in God, but they've never seen it. Right. Dr. Martin Luther King was that type of guy to make you believe and give you the extra push mentally that you need to get to, like what he said, the mountaintop. And remember we was talking about that a few days ago. It's one of my favorite speeches, the mountaintop. I played it in big moments in my life, not just with basketball and before championship games to help me carry on. But that was, after Virginia Union. But yeah, it was always something to help push my drive and it was something motivating me. It inspired me to keep pushing forward and keep growing mentally, because it seemed like it's definitely something out there you want to be able to be prepared for and prepare someone else for. So that's what Dr. Martin Luther King meant to me. I appreciate you letting me share that,
I think that's a powerful statement in that, because he too was a father, and in light of the climate that we're living in today, with the political polarization that we're living in, and the racialization of stereotypes being exploited for a negative benefit. I think of a couple of things when I think of Martin Luther King. One, he went to college at 15. So he put while some of my kids out there taking videos of them running around fighting each other, this man going to school. Graduated, got his doctorate, won Nobel Peace Prize. But the thing that has always caused me a little grief was this concept of him having a dream. Now, he discussed what is owed to black people as well by the 14th Amendment. The other thing the campaign that he pushed towards the end of his life when he was down there at the Lorraine, was he was beginning the Poor People's Campaign. That's an economic campaign building on the strength of the 1955 through 57 Montgomery bus boycott, making use of economic not doing anything to bring people to the table for negotiation. So what I'm looking at is here we are in 2018, we might be, I think we're somewhere like $1.3 trillion in spending power that we have. Now imagine the $1.3 trillion in spending power. Could we fund Coach's project? Could we fund with $1.3 trillion? Almost, we talking about the eighth largest. That's like if that was a GDP, that would be large. That would be the eighth largest GDP on the planet. Now imagine, we actually decided we want to get along. Can't we all get along? There was another king that said something like that. His name was Rodney. And as he was getting his head beat, he still said, "Can't we all get along?"
Rodney King.
Right.
Martin Luther King said, "Judged by content of our character." Can you imagine if family first? There's nothing wrong with family first. Put that $1.3 trillion in an agenda. Push the agenda. Economically, education-wise, entertainment-wise. And then eventually go overseas. Because when he was talking on Vietnam, he was talking about the people being oppressed by a colonizer. And here we had the same situation.
Right.
That made him international. His international impact, much like Malcolm X's international impact, produced the drama that wound up taking his life. But the concept of getting together, like going into schools, touching these young people. But we also got to go in the hood, touching these young people. We also got to go in the suburbs, touching these young people. So that we can eventually bring this body together. So that we can do something. So his vision of people being judged by the content of their character, because if you think about it, the Asian community, they control their 16. I think their money goes in their hands 16 times before it leaves. Now imagine if we could do that. Imagine if we could take our $1.3 trillion and build and do. His vision touched me like that.
Yeah.
And that's that can raise us out of the situation that we in. So if this public school won't help us, okay, well, we'll take the money that we spend and we'll put it here. We'll pay teachers what they're worth. We'll pay teachers or life coaches, as Coach said, to do what they're supposed to do and make it an honored profession. That's the power that we got in our hands. 2017, if you think about it, Luke 17 verses 20 and 21 say the kingdom of heaven is within you. But here's the king, the head is the kingdom. Now, if we get a new king in our head, we might be able to make this thing happen on earth as it is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he means to me. And I see Milton putting their work in, touching these young people through athletics. I touch people through education and certain life stories that we share. You know, and I hear you working in behavioral health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I worked in behavioral health too, in-home counseling.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done in-home counseling. I've done counseling in the institution.
Day treatment, counselor,
all of those things.
mental health skill building.
Yeah, all of those kind of things we've done.
Yeah, I've done
But
a little bit of everything.
we've been broken. We've been broken.
As far as in what ways?
Well, let's see. We can't get along for whatever reason.
Right.
Whatever reason. Because somebody going to be jealous of Coach. For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's always jealous of somebody who's doing. What is that gene? Where does that come from? Where is that Cain gene from? Why is that always manipulated to break the house down? Why are 80% of our families headed by female? We supposed to be like what I was saying. The love begins with us linking up with, building the family back. That's a piece of it. Cause that's that end when they leave school at 3:30, they go to where their family is in shambles. Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You been in the houses where you seen.
Yeah.
You read those books. You read those notes on these. That's broken. And that's not just black. It's white, black, red, yellow, brown.
I'm about to say that goes from not only the American community, but what's helped me relate to a lot of the kids nowadays is that I've worked outside the country and I've seen that people have been able to survive with less. And it's just the type of help and the approach that people bring to kids in different populations is then that shows that where we're going to get the impact and get to our long-term goals of being able to make an impact in the community with the kids and the youth, and hopefully one day to be college graduates or business owners or next doctor, whatever profession one chooses to proceed with is good to be able to touch on it and help push them in the right direction. But it definitely starts at the younger ages, and I'm always with that. So definitely count me in, and I'm looking forward to hearing more news and information about it. I'll definitely be spreading the information if at all possible. So I'm looking forward to it. So
definitely. Once again, for those that people get on me the most, that they don't know how to listen in, we're going to ask you, we'll go around the table one more time and have you say your social media.
Okay. Right now?
Right now.
All right. My Instagram is 22_BDP. Twitter, you can follow me at Buster22Perkins. Number 22 was my jersey back in college, so it goes a long way. And, the banners do too. So, yeah, we always try to represent the right way. So, here you go.
Jack, your social.
Again, JCSHARPE, the number 2, at gmail.com. That's the best way to reach me.
Right. And mine is at Milton Bell Team on Twitter. You guys can go to my website, www.miltonbellbasketball.com. You can email me at milton.bell@miltonbellbasketball.com. Has my email on website, everything you guys need. So for all of my friends, we have people shouting out RJ Price, who is playing in Winterthur, Switzerland. We talked to him last week on our Globe Warriors podcast. He was gracious enough to have us into his space, his quiet time, and so he gave a great analogy. He painted a great picture for our youth of what to expect if they're fortunate enough to get to the pro level. So we want to say thank you to RJ Price and his family for having the time to talk to us. Anything else you guys want to leave? Great show. I really appreciate you guys. Can't say thank you guys enough for being on the show.
A special, I don't know about a shout out, but special thanks to Coach Dave Robbins, who helped prepare me and put me in a good situation and showed a lot of my teammates and even my friends who were impacted by seeing how I carried it up under his wing. I want to thank him for his continuing guidance and his mentorship. He always had good stuff and to put in our ear and help coach us on and off the court. That's why I feel like he had a special impact, because just like a lot of my other coaches, like I said, Coach Gosen and Coach Davenport, even Coach Tate at Columbus State also. But yeah, all my coaches always left a good impact on me. I got a lot of good relationships with them, and Coach Dave Robbins, Coach Gosen, all these guys have always had a good impact on myself. And I appreciate these guys, along with my teammates who have also held me accountable and helped me along the way to build towards positivity. I want to thank all these guys and, shout out whatever they do these days. But I appreciate all you guys. So I'd like to continue the positive energy, and let's keep building forward.
Keep building forward, Jack. Anything?
I'd like to be thankful to the Most High for giving me life, resurrecting me from a lost place years ago. I'm thankful for, I want to give a shout to Mom and Pop for looking out for me, grooming me the right way. Both of them were educators. I'd like to give a shout out to my coaches that I had from Little League all the way to college. Coach George, Coach Beard at Battery, Coach Anderson, Coach Street, Coach Cal. Went to high school. My coaches at A&T, and I'm gonna tell you the class Aggie brothers I played football with when I was there. I want to give a shout out to them, especially my roommate Chino. Want to give a definite shout out to the people who taught me from this little all the way up. Special shout out to Krista Sharpe, my wife, who is my muse. She is the wind between my phoenix wings and our family that we build. And a shout out to Milton and Brother Buster right here and Coach for a great show and the work that they're doing. May we be blessed to do that until we call to go somewhere else.
The beauty of it all is that, for those that don't know, Coach Sharpe and I, when I got to John Marshall, Coach Sharpe was the senior who, you know how they assign you the underclassmen when you are a senior, they assign you a rookie. And so I was his rookie, and so he was my mentor, and he taught me the game, and he did so much for me, he and his father. So for me to have a chance to have him on my show means the world to me. So I want to say thank you to these guys. We're going to sign off from TMBT Radio. Thanks, everyone, for joining.